welcome to a new episode of Let's Talk Tobago. Our location, the Shore Park Cultural Complex. Now I'm excited to share this interesting lineup of stories we have for you this week. I'm Patricia Nicholson Richards, and this is Let's Talk Tobago. Let's go. Trinidad and Tobago recently celebrated Indian Arrival Day, and we have some highlights from the Tobago celebrations. Residents of Mount St. George Goodwood got to have their say at the most recently held town hall meeting, and the Trinidad and Tobago Blind and Welfare Association is encouraging Tobagonians to take better care of their eyes. All this and more in this episode of Let's Talk Tobago.
If praises, praises. This is Franz Job, the country boy, and you're watching Let's Talk Tobago.
The Tobago Hindu Society recently held its annual Indian Arrival Day celebrations at Gulf City Mall, Lowlands, Tobago, and we have some highlights in this next story.
He came from Calcutta, a stick and a bag on his shoulder. He took banana capra. So I am Patsy of India. India.
We must never lose sight of the sacrifices they made. In this regard, we must make every attempt to show them how much we value what they have done for our country, and in fact, in extension for Tobago. When you reflect on the Singhs, and you reflect on the BPATs, and you reflect on persons like Miss Rena, and the list can go on, and think about the indelible contribution that our East Indian brothers and sisters have made to Tobago's development.
Our country has reaped the benefit of an improved economy, an improved cultural expression, food and festivals, which have now become part of our own common cultural heritage, which every creed and race now freely enjoy.
Residents of the electoral district of Mount St. George Goodwood got to have their say at the most recently held Executive Council District Town Hall meeting. And we have all the highlights in this next story.
We held a sewing class that saw 15 persons with a certificate that represents their ability in basic sewing. So that was held from November and ended in March. We, as a district, also had computer literacy classes. We have our annual book drive that takes place every year. Also, an eye testing initiative for the school children as well. We, as a district, has applied for land in the Gosbo area where we intend to do some farming.
The cemetery There's supposed to be a public toilet there, but not even the dead will use that. Right. And this is a low-hanging fruit. The little shed that is there, if possible, give us the material, we can refurbish that thing and have it, usable.
There was an RFP, request for proposal, that went out for the refurbishment of the facilities. So we're talking about toilet facilities and so forth a couple weeks ago for both the Argyle Cemetery and the Goodwood Cemetery. So at least for Argyle and for Goodwood, we would have refurbished facilities so that when we go to these funerals, we would have a dignified place that we could refresh ourselves and go to the washroom if needed.
The Goodwood Pavilion will be completed. The THA will have to complete it ourselves. Unfortunately, I know many of you here think the pavilion is in the wrong place, but at this juncture, I think it's too late to move it. I think it will cost more to move it at this juncture. We have to finish the project and then find some more money and reroute the lighting to now match what's there.
We want to know what's the development plan and how are we going to move forward as a constituency. If you could shed some light on that, I would greatly appreciate it.
One of the initiatives were to have lands redistributed to persons who really are interested in farming. I know the resident requested the upgrade of the community center, of which I've made advocacy on the village behalf. They have also spoken about the tourism product in the area. So we wanted to do some kind of tourism development apart from the infrastructural work at Goodwood.
Area Rep Morrison spoke a lot about the infrastructural works, the drainage, the retaining walls, fixing the roads, about the fires in the district and the families so affected. In this district, there are a couple other things on the horizon. She spoke about farming and looking at Goldsboro and doing sort of community cooperative type arrangement for farming. So that is something we're working on getting to you, the community, within this calendar year.
In brotherhood, there is strength, and in strength, there is salvation. This was the theme of an interfaith service held to commemorate 50 years of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Retirees Association.
It was a special gathering of retired law enforcers who graciously endeavor to continue being their brother's keepers under the banner of the Police Retirees Association.
What began 50 years ago as a grouping of retired police officers has now mushroomed into an association of almost 1,000 members. Our association was formed in September 1973 and can now boast of a modern office located at Besson Street, Port-au-Spain.
Association President Brother Wellington Virgil says the TTPRA allows retired servicemen and women to maintain camaraderie in their twilight years, as well as benefiting from support services, despite being self-funded.
We are able to provide financial assistance to our members, principally to defray the cost associated with accessing medical attention.
In his tribute, Assemblyman Joel Sampson praised the old guards for keeping the nation safe and appealed for such service to be upheld.
I think it's time that those that are serving us presently tap into those who have gone before us. Because back in the days, when you think about it, as a community, as a nation, persons could have gone to their beds, leaving their doors wide open, without the worry that we face today. And it had to be something that these persons that gone before us was doing right, that we can't seem to get right today.
Other tributes from the current executive of the TTPS paid homage to their predecessors.
I thank you on behalf of the Commissioner of Police and her executive for all that you have done in carving the landscape of Trinidad and Tobago. We who are still here
in the organization will continue that fight, and by the grace of God, we will overcome. Thank you very much. God's blessings.
The TTPRA's 50th anniversary was supported with prayer readings from the Baptist, Roman Catholic, Moravian, Anglican, Muslim, Seventh-day Adventist, Methodist, and Hindu faiths. I'm Ryan McCool for Let's Talk Tobago.
Hi guys, we have to take a break right now, but more Let's Talk Tobago when we return.
I'm Carol Warner and you are watching Let's Talk Tobago.
Quite an interesting painting to look at, just like the many others here at the Shore Park Cultural Complex. But guys, hear this. Tobagonians are being encouraged to take better care of their eyes by the Trinidad and Tobago Blind Welfare Association. They'll tell you just how to do that in this next story.
This walk through the streets of Scarborough is a public awareness initiative by the Trinidad and Tobago Blind Welfare Association. It's meant to sensitize the public about persons who are visually impaired. It's also a call to action for people to protect and care for their eyes, a notion that the association further promoted through its health fair at the Scarborough Esplanade.
Love Your Eyes was chosen as a theme because we recognize and we want to promote and encourage persons to make eye health a priority, to love taking care of your eyes so as to avoid avoidable blindness.
It is not just them speaking about sight, but they have included all of the other components of sight that affect your health. So we're talking about nutrition, because we all know that there's a direct link between, for example, diabetes and your sight. So talking about nutrition, the nutritionists are here, there are individuals here doing your blood pressure and cholesterol, and all of those things has the potential to affect your sight. So I am actually very thankful for them for coming up with this idea and to make it so all-inclusive.
I am excited that I was here to see so many people that were visually impaired, and it was surprising to me, but it was good to see that we came here for this cause and we are supporting this cause, and we would gladly do it again.
I want people to take care of their eyes so that they could be independent and people won't take advantage of them.
So rather than having to depend on a disability grant or a charity hamper, we actually, because we earn a sustainable income, we are able to provide for ourselves and our families and add to the national GDP. So it is important for the society to join hands with us in advocating for an accessible environment for us, because it would benefit all of Trinidad and Tobago.
This walk and health fair was supported by the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection under the Tobago Regional Health Authority. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Remember the good old days of being swept up in an entrancing story being told by our elders? Well, that legacy continues as 12 young finalists participate in the finals of the Tobago Library Services Storytelling Competition. Here's more.
Imagine it. Be It was the theme of this year's competition, which these young storytellers embodied to bring their pieces to life.
As you know, it's a competition that involves primary school level children, which falls under the purview of the Children's Library. This competition this year was stiff, it was tough. We didn't have it for 2 years straight because of COVID, of course, but we got a lot of participation, more than last time, and the children would have put a lot of effort in. We saw an improvement in the performances, and it was really, really good.
Understanding the benefits of the art form, the Tobago Library Services has been keeping this oral tradition alive since 1984.
It helps the children more so than it does the school, I would say. It helps the child to find their voice. You know, it takes a lot of effort to get in front of an audience and to perform. It helps them with their dedication and diligence when you look at where they have to start and how they actually deliver. It helps them with their diction, with their body language. It helps them with their expression, and it helps them with their overall confidence.
It was a tough task for the judges, but after meticulous deliberation,
using up all her courage, Betty stepped forward and said,
second place was Scarborough RC's Kalia Alfred performing Mama Lizzie.
Show start. Time for Boopsy to come out. And Boopsy come out as a bodybuilder. If you say Boopsy.
And towering above the competition was the humbly comported Alessandro Bab with his adaptation of Old Fletch by Paul Keynes Douglas.
And jump on conquer him was like a miracle. Monkey man Maurice got from bass to soprano like a jet. You think that was joke, Lash? Yes, sir. The conqueror could have make people sing. And was no fooling wrong with Old Fletch. When he says stand, you stand. And sit, you sit. And if you catch your cooking, well, Lord have mercy. Hear him confound the basic chicks.
Taking in his moment, Alessandro recounted his journey to the finals.
After the preliminaries, my dad assisted me. He also sent the video to a very close family friend, which is Miss Kennetta Bob. And she said it would be a 7 out of 8. From there, we continued working tirelessly and hard to get it up to the perfect way.
Directed by his teacher, Miss Michelle John, and tutor, Miss Patricia Denoon, Alessandro was grateful for the support of his parents and, of course,
my school of Scarborough Methodist Primary School, which I can now declare is the best primary school in the entirety of Tobago. It does take a village to mind a child. It was in that way, just with the verse speaking. It took the whole entire school and even out of the school boundary. A retired teacher, which was Miss Noon.
Well done, young man, and congratulations to all contestants of this year's storytelling competition. For Let's Talk Tobago, I'm Ryan McCool.
And that's a wrap, guys. We've come to the end of yet another episode of Let's Talk Tobago. Now, for more of our content, you can follow us on social media. You can also visit our website, www.tha.gov.tt. I'm Patricia Nicholson-Richards, and on behalf of all of us at the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, thank you so much for viewing, and see you soon.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. As we continue to give God thanks for life, I am Julian Skeet.
And I am Ria Richardson George, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning to Tobago, good morning Trinidad, those of you viewing in the Caribbean, and those of you viewing on the live. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I have to remind myself that it's Friday morning and not Monday morning.
Yes, Friday the 9th of June, 2023. And oh yes, Ria, it feels like it's a Monday morning coming just after that holiday. Always that kind of feeling. But yes, folks, it is Friday. That's Friday the 9th of June. We are into the 6th month of the year. Wow. Time is indeed flying. I hope that some are having a good time, even while some are overcoming challenges, as is the natural case in life. But let's remember what's very critical and important is that you're actually alive to have the ability to overcome by the grace of God.
That's right. Julian, even as we're talking about thanking God for life, on Wednesday afternoon, yesterday was the holiday, Thursday, Wednesday afternoon, we learned of the tragic drowning of Justin Arthur. And we want to extend condolences to the family yet again, because this is, a 2-3 week window where they would have lost, 3 members of the family in a very short space of time.
Quite a very short space of time, indeed. And, condolences certainly going out to the Arthur family, as well, the Allens, Mount St. George, Delaford, Arthur family out of Delaford in particular, obviously connected right in Mount St. George. And, I met and I saw, I should say, bounced up uptown, 2 members of the family. And I want to say, we know without a doubt, many cannot relate, as this is a very difficult, extremely difficult circumstance. And I really want you to know that our prayers continue to go out with you and other members of the family at this time, treating with this very difficult circumstance. You're dealing with, 2. And then you find yourself now dealing with 3. And I have to say dealing with, because in all honesty, as I, would have been gently reminded, by the time the funeral date has passed, it's not as though that's it. The reality is still there, especially for the family. As I like to say, when things, and I know this from my very own experience, you start to feel that reality when things start to go back to some level of normalcy, which is usually after the funeral, families start heading out and the household kind of gets back to what you know it to be. And then you recognize, oh my gosh, this is serious and this is real indeed. So sending out condolences there to the entire family. Marie and Tiora, the entire family are out there at this time treating with, once again, another loss, the passing of Justin Arthur.
And as well, we want to send out some love and greetings this morning out there in Kingston, Jamaica, our good friend Julian Rogers, who's locked on to the show this morning. So a special good morning going out to you this morning, kind sir.
Yes, good morning indeed. All right, viewers, at this point, we head on over to news in 90 seconds.
Thank you so much, Julian and Ray. And here's your news in 90 seconds, sponsored by Coconut Cafes on the ground floor at the Port Mall, Tobago. I am Chanel Felix, and here is your news. On Wednesday, the 7th of June, 2023, 2 divisions under the THA were presented at the 19th meeting of the Joint Select Committee on Local Authorities, Service Commission, and Statutory Authorities, including the THA, the Division of Trade, Finance, and the Economy and Tourism, Culture, Antiquities, and Transportation. The primary focus of this follow-up meeting was to evaluate the progress made by the THA in implementing the recommendations in the report of the 16th meeting of the JSC from 2016. The Division of Finance, Trade, and the Economy presented on the impact of COVID on the economy, strategies for post-COVID recovery, revenue generation, and attracting foreign direct investment. The Division of Tourism presented on 2 major events on the island, the Tobago Jazz Experience and October Carnival, as it relates to arrivals and airlifts. Based on the responses, From representatives of the two divisions, both events seem to have suffered significant deficits. Additionally, both divisions appeared to be unprepared for the meeting, and this was further compounded by the absence of senior officials of the Tobago Tourism Agency. And finally, in a Facebook post from the minority leader, Kelvin Morris, I quote, "So you all have no problem spending the big bucks, but at the same time, you all don't want to answer the people of Trinidad and Tobago?" In an exclusive interview with Tobago Updates, Senator Lawrence Hislop said, "The division lacks overall managerial direction and accountability." At the JSC, the Division of Finance stated, according to records, are mostly manual, and that assembly that the assembly will start digitalizing those records this fiscal year, with the Executive Council minutes and the Hansard reports of the Assembly Legislature. Additionally, an update on non-tourism foreign investment projects on the island, including a potential strawberry farm, was mentioned. And that was your news in 90.
Thank you there, Chanel, bringing us the news. Yes, thank you there, Chanel, bringing us the news in 90 seconds this morning. We are very interesting developments there at that, particularly the appearance before the GSC. And I couldn't help but when I saw tourism, to remember a few years ago, falling into a similar kind of scenario, the director of tourism then, not being able to respond to some of the issues, and in fact, responding in a manner that really did not meet the, the satisfaction of many. It seems like we have some challenges there when it comes from at the technical perspective in terms of administrative and so on, being able to relate the data and what the data is saying in relation to travel. And then, like many, I am looking out, and the history will speak for itself. I look out for the festivals anywhere on this island that have been profitable in the last however long. A very interesting development in terms of the highlights coming forward with regards to the course. But I was of the opinion when we interviewed John Arnold and others that over the years that the focus has not necessarily been just yet on revenue generating, but rather the increased economic activity in the space. And then I see references to a loss, etc. What can I say?
It has to make sense, and right now it's not making sense.
But to me, you know what you're going into, you know what you're about to spend. There is no mechanism, and we've been doing this for years. We've been doing this for years, going in, knowing that we're going to spend, knowing that it's not even going to break even, but making that decision on the basis that this is in order to support, I suppose, the festival industry, the tourism industry, whatever aspect of the space that we provide.
But we must make some money.
Well, we look forward to hearing what the changes will be, because I know that was one of the announcements coming out from the Chief Secretary a while back in terms of the changes to come, quote unquote, with these festivals, or the jazz festival specifically. Yes. So we wait to see what it produces in going forward. I suppose the government that is able to generate some revenue will be the government that people will probably vote for. All right, viewers, at this point we head on into birthday celebrations. Birthday celebrations this morning, sponsored by KFC.
This is your birthday shout-outs on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
And we start things off this morning chatting with, and we start things off this morning celebrating Glenville Wilson, celebrating his birthday. Glenville, all the best and happy birthday going out to you from the Tobago Updates family this morning. And that is Micaiah Bacchus celebrating her birthday. Happy birthday going out to you, Micaiah Bacchus. And do have a great one from all of us here at Tobago Updates.
All right, and this is a birthday shout out. Some know him as Dr. Todd MJ Denoon. You can't forget the middle initials there, Todd. Wishing you a happy birthday and God's continued blessings indeed. Living life and enjoying life, you know. I saw him up to recently. I said, Todd, like there's no stress at all. Living and enjoying life. Wishing you a very, very happy birthday and God's continued blessings.
Happy birthday, Todd. And this is Talia Clark. Happy birthday going out to you this morning, Talia. Almost didn't recognize you in this photo.
Shout outs there, Talia. All dressed up for work.
This is the Talia that
yes.
we know. Happy birthday,
Right.
girl, to you.
Certainly wishing you a happy birthday. And we have on screen, this is Heidi Eastman. Wishing you a happy birthday, Heidi, and God's continued blessings as you continue to celebrate. Heidi's one of those easygoing, rock back.
That's right.
Relax.
That's
We want to wish
happy
you
birthday,
God's
Heidi.
continued blessings.
And we've got the man himself, Telly Cruz. Belated birthday greetings going out to you from the Tobago Updates crew and the family. So have a great one. And this is Janice Rogers Campbell. Happy birthday going out to you, Janice Rogers Campbell. And lots of love from the entire Tobago Updates family.
This is a one that's near and dear to my heart. You know, we refer to as Granny Rita, some say Auntie Rita, some say Mom. Sending a birthday shout out to you. My information is that she celebrated 89. So, love in the family. Celebrating 89 and this birthday shout out, photos courtesy Auntie Joanne. I'm sending birthday greetings from Auntie Joanne, Auntie Jillian, Uncle Elvis, Jada, Che, Chad, the entire family, sending some love out there for you. We certainly love you and trust that God will continue to bless you as we wish you a happy birthday. Enjoy the full 89 celebration.
Birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
From the experts that created the Zinger sandwich comes the KFC Crispy Barbecue Zinger.
The only one I see is you.
Cheddar cheese, crispy onions, the most delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken, and barbecue sauce. Get ready for a whole new level of flavor.
Yes, good morning, viewers, and welcome back. That was our birthday segment sponsored by KFC. And as we head on into our rundown for this morning, we get the conversation started with Jessie Taylor, Cultural Officer 2, and we are speaking the Tobago Heritage Festival 2023.
And yes, we're going to continue things this morning, chatting with Esther Judith Ali, who's the director for Palmstar Promotions, and it's all about a synopsis on the Spelling Bee and Vocabulary Challenge and the launch of the New Wave Maths Championships.
Right, and this morning we're also speaking the Tobago Rainbow Cup 2023. We'll be chatting with Jason Gooding, event organizer, and Nina James, Grenada National Triathlon Champion. So we look forward to those discussions this morning as we provide you with all the updates and the happenings in Tobago. All right, at this point, viewers, we head straight on in Ria to Tobago Notes or Tobago in Focus.
Good health starts with good nutrition. The Division of Education, Research and Technology understands this, knowing that the future of Tobago lies with the nutrition of our children. The school nutrition policy is being developed for this purpose.
We must understand that the child is a whole being. What the child consumes matters. We do have a lot of wastage with particular meals as well, so we want to bring everything in a streamlined and organized manner so that we are most cost effective in our school nutrition program.
The policy, which is being examined and developed by a multi-departmental team from the division, as well as food and nutrition stakeholders, will seek to reduce waste, provide cost-effective measures, as well as establishing quality standards for meals and the stakeholders who create them.
We're also going to be reviewing the cost, the pricing, criteria for children to access the meals, because that has sort of gotten out of control a little bit over the years, moved away from the original objectives. And also the criteria for selecting and for maintaining your services as a caterer, because you have to maintain a standard.
The committee has been given a 4-month deadline for the full rollout of this policy. Technical advisor at the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Natasha Second, said work is well underway and encouraged principals, teachers and parents to participate in the process when the need arises.
We want to have policies that are very clear. policies that are very pragmatic. They're not going to simply be academic documents that are stuck in a cupboard. We want persons who work throughout the system to be able to move towards an improvingly higher quality education product, because we can measure exactly where we're going. So we want it to be transparent, and we want to have high levels of accountability throughout our entire system.
Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, buljoil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meats served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules, or if you are having a cooking day off. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. Yes, viewers, in this segment, we have on set with us Jesse Taylor, Cultural Officer 2, as we speak the Tobago Heritage Festival 2023. Good morning to you, sir, and welcome.
Good morning to you, Julian, and all of Tobago, and the division administrator, and Ms. Megan Morrison, and the staff at Culture. Good morning.
All right, as you mentioned, the Assistant Secretary, I couldn't help but thinking, let's talk about this bumper heritage season. All right, as we look at 2023, I want to start off first on the theme for 2023, because I couldn't help, and I'm not sure if it was intentional. I saw the flyer come out. I took a glimpse. I thought we were doing some review of the times, because it almost had that kind of look
that was deliberate.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Yes. It is. Julian, the theme is indeed homage. It is really designed to reflect and to honor, to pay homage, to pay reverence, to rever to all those things and people, places, and all of it. Indeed, the sub-theme says, all are we and who all are we be. So that's larger than in itself just doing performance culture. So the theme this year is designed to depict, to create some nostalgia, to take us back to some 35 years ago, where it all started, with this year, the 36th year of its manifestation. And Julia, what is interesting is that we have come a long way, and this time I figure has come for us to pause, exhale, and really appreciate those things that have made us the people we are proud to have become, and to be able to celebrate. And that's what we're doing with homage. So we are, in fact, honoring the past. There are so many people from the past, and we are celebrating those people from the future. Indeed, there are many of the future at the present, and we are inspiring those for the future, but that's where the continuance and the preservation will really take shape.
So I'm realizing this year, and some have raised the concern that the festival appears to be scaled down when compared to years prior. How would you describe?
Well, scaled down is not a word I would use. I have been using the word a special edition. It's specially crafted because, as a matter of fact, as early as next week, Wednesday, the junior caravan is launched and will go to the various schools. So over in the period of June, in the month of June, we'll actually be targeting a number of schools to take to them what we call Once Upon a Time, Way Back When. That's in the month of June. But that's not only that. It's characterized by a number of other training sessions and other special sessions, which we have been calling the fringe elements. The fact is, and the truth of the matter is, Julian, is that in any 2-week period, you cannot truly celebrate the bounty of Tobago's culture. Because our culture is larger than what we do in 2 weeks. It's bigger than that. The buko, goat, and crab race is part of that. And every other thing that we do that's festival-oriented or generated has its place in the culture. So it cannot be limited to just that. But there are several people who, communities, groups, and other special organizations that would have applied for entry into the official period, which is on the 21st of July to August 1st. But we have created an opportunity through several fringe elements that is going to allow the same showcase and allow other people who would be on the island or be available or be willing to or be able to absorb these things starting next week when we roll out what is unofficially pre-heritage events and into the official period.
I want you to tell us a little bit. One of the things I've also noticed is the grouping of some of the events, particularly at the start. Traditionally, we just had an opening night gala, then separately we'd have the heritage personality, then the calypso competition. But we are seeing on the very first night what appears or what appears to be the coming together of the opening, the heritage personality, and the calypso competition. Tell us a little bit about that concept.
Julian, it's about how we take the product, the heritage product, and that's just it. How do we sustain the product? How do we monetize the product? How do we make it relevant? How do we create the attention and give it what the personality it needs to truly be valued in its space? And one of the thoughts that the planning committee, that when we sat and spoke about it, is what we are able to use, may I say, kill the two birds with one stone. And we are also looking at cost-related factors. So it is not that you're going to be devoid of an opening gala. As a matter of fact, pre the show, people have an opportunity, media would have an opportunity, the world would have an opportunity using Shore Park, which is at its peak now, as well as considered to be the festival village and high point, selling point of Tobago. We also have to use what is the unique selling point to get people to the space. There are people who love calypso. There are people who appreciate the elements of the village pageantry. So if we could bring those two elements together, we would have done what I figure is financially and fiscally prudent, and we'd have been able to give people an opportunity to enjoy those things that they once loved and cherish, because it has been done before.
All right, excellent. Now I want us to look, we're looking broadly at the festival and its reach for this year, but just tapping into the same first in the lineup. Based on those coming together, should we naturally anticipate what would be a larger turnout because of the different groupings of
that is what is
calypso
intended.
fraternity?
Julian, our heritage is our legacy. Our legacy is enshrined in the history. Our history speaks to a people and a society that is from the past. It is man, and maybe the proverbial man in a time past. So we have to now look at how do we merge or really put together what would have been something that we have inherited, something that we are and are proud to be inextricably linked to, the Middle Passage, the transatlantic slave thing, those things that were once considered colonial and bitter, how we were able to turn those things into a beautiful tourism product. How do we marry that with our present state of affairs? How do we manage that with our developmental trust, our hopes, our ambition, not just for the village, but for Tobago? How do we use that to influence positively tourism on the island? How do we use that to influence community cohesion? How do we use that to position Tobago to be another other place that is considered 101 reasons why we should go there? And I figure that using these opportunities that present itself during the month of July and August, we are able to do that and capitalize on that later in the year when the cruise ship seasons open. Why can't we go to Lekki and see folk tales and superstition? Why, when the tourists come, we can't go to Pembroke and see an aspect of the Salaka feast? Why can't Charlottesville get together and say, okay, we are getting together, when the boat the cruise ship lands in Charlottesville, we are going to do Natural Treasures Day.
So we're giving a taste. Viewers, at this point, we take a quick break, but have no fear. We come back to speak about the Tobago Heritage Festival. Imagine we just started on the first day. We ain't touched just yet Plymouth, Charlottesville, Salaka Feast in Pembroke, Lakoto, and the like. So we're looking forward to continuing the discussion after the break with Jessie Taylor, Cultural Officer 2. And therefore, we take this opportunity to remind you that this is your time to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Yes, be careful.
Honey, I feel I'm going to start to cook, yes, because these children must be hungry now, right? Okay. Oh, shucks. Oh. These plugs, oh my gosh.
Hey, Rizak, hey, come from there, come from there.
What's going on in here?
Oh God, I should have buy exhibition, boy. What would you do if this happened to you? Dial 990 in case of fire emergencies and always have a serviceable fire extinguisher ready and available at all times.
Are you looking for a place for your loved ones? Heavenly Care welcomes you. Located at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors, we offer a variety of services. These include doctor visitations, social activities, geriatric care, and much more. Contact us at 277-9595 or visit us at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors. At Heavenly Care, compassion is at the heart of all care.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We continue the discussion this morning with Jessie Taylor, Cultural Officer 2 at the Division of Tourism and Culture. And the focus again, Tobago Heritage Festival 2023. Now, Jessie Taylor, always a pleasure chatting with you. The Secretary, Megan Morrison, would have indicated earlier on that this is going to be a bumper heritage season. From what we're seeing, a lot of persons have seen several changes. What may appear to be several changes to the program. How does this marry with it being a bumper season for 2023?
Well, I do want to endorse what the Assistant Secretary who has the responsibility for culture would have said. Indeed it is. And I would have listened, and I was actually present at the press conference when she spoke. And larger than stage, community, village performances, this year's it is also intended to pay formal recognition to a number of people in Tobago who would have contributed, what we call our icons and our stalwarts, who would have contributed towards the fast-forward movement of Tobago, its culture, its heritage, and its traditions. So that inside of all of this, there is a plan to honor and like I said, celebrate their works and their achievement by placing them and giving them the honor that they deserve in what we would see naming of streets and rooms and spaces. And we have to be honest, if in any edition of Heritage, any administration or any division or any grouping or any planning committee sits to and honor and truly treat with some of the contributions that many of these people have made, some of whom have died, and in some cases may not have been what we consider formally recognized, then that is part of our heritage. When we say all are we and who all are we be, it's all about that. All are we who we be. About those families, those people who would have contributed, but their names are not listed anywhere. Our contributions are not noted and listed amongst the greatest. The works and struggles and triumphs and those people who we considered consider our cherished knowledge bearers, our people who continue to carry and act as doorkeepers, gateways, and way pavers of our noble customs, they need to be recognized. So larger than just having a production in a village that's a reenactment, I think it's time that we pause and recognize as well and pay homage to all those persons who have come along the way but have may seemingly be forgotten. And that would be a travesty if that happens. And I want to endorse the secretary, the assistant, and the division, and the planning committee for the foresight and for recognizing that the time has come. That we not only go to a place to say rest in peace and offer these tributes when people cannot hear,
but giving them the flowers
of why they can smell it and appreciate it.
All right, now you and Julian would have covered the opening night of this big Heritage Festival for 2023. Give us an idea in terms of the rundown. What can persons expect following?
So I was saying to Julian that from next week, Wednesday, the Junior Heritage School Caravan rolls out. So we go island-wide during the month of June. But that is against a backdrop of what we have been termed Ready, Set, Go, so that even, for instance, women who normally would have done Wake and Bongo, there is an evening that's going to be, we're going to treat with that in terms of the way we put it into the media and how it's going to roll out exactly, that we are going to treat with the traditions of how a reenactment of a wake and the bongo and that kind of stuff. There's also going to be drumming, Afro drumming, Caribbean drumming, because some of the things that we also recognize here is that along the way we have grown from when we reflect, we have grown along the way, and there are things that have made us into a proud people that we are. The steel pan. So, for instance, in Black Rock, on the 31st of Black Rock, there is a sea and steel pan festival. No one can deny that the pan movement and the steel pan, which is our national instrument, has taken shape and has taken growth and has been highly acclaimed, particularly in this year amongst our Tobago people, stalwarts. That did not start here. As a matter of fact, I was part of another incarnation where it was called the Youth in Culture, where those people, the OJs and the Kirsch and who are now at the forefront, would have started as teenagers under a program called Our Youth in Culture. Now they are where they are, and that is where you can start to see the fruits from the tree, the labor from the tree. So additionally, some of the things you are likely to see would be the old-time, the Juven old-time carnival in Plymouth. That happens immediately after the opening. And then some of the other things you would see is what we know and appreciate and always love to have is Charleville Natural Treasures Day. You would have the Salaka Feast, so you'll have the rituals in the morning, you'll have the show in the afternoon, you'll also have doing folk tales and superstition, you'll have Mariah wedding, and these are some of the staples that we've always had. The truth be told, against the backdrop of what was offered as proposals, largely, most of them has been embraced. So while they may not physically be on a calendar of events, they are a part of what we call the fringe elements of heritage. Because in July, once we clear June and we live to see July, it means that we will unroll several other aspects. The Army Heritage on the Road is the island-wide caravan that goes to the streets to create nostalgia, to be a form of living museum, entertainment and advertisement for the festival. So you could be just living here and just see the old-time wedding just in front of the Port Mall. So the heritage, when it's an old saying, when Muhammad can't go to the mountain,
take the mountain.
Thank you. So it cannot just be limited to, I'm not seeing it on the calendar, because outside of that, there are other elements. And for instance, we now have added the Yam Festival. The agricultural aspect is very important. We are who we eat, and who we eat is who we are. So there's an element that deals with the Yam Festival as well. So we are looking at how we bring all and create the Yam Festival and the old market experience. When last have you gone to a village and see a market? We haven't been seeing that much. But one last time we've been able to really get some things that you have not been seeing as much. We talk about the products, but we can't walk into them readily and get them. That will help us with not having to go to Trinidad or any other place. If we can engender a sense of agricultural spirit, then certainly then we will be doing these things that we should be doing in keeping our natural heritage alive.
All right, and we see here the Miss Tobago Heritage Personality, and of course that is a huge staple within the Tobago Heritage Festival. Persons look forward to it every year. What can you tell us about this year's
So what I can tell you is that we have gone back to, as we pay homage, we are also paying homage to those things that we used to do. So we are gone back to the recycled ware. So the delegates have an opportunity to compete in that as part of the formal segment. They will be required to get to found objects and material, creative stuff, just as when on the days when the once known flower bag became that kitchen curtain or that tablecloth or whatever. So we're going back to having the delegates do that. The talent is going to remain, and then we look at how we go back into the village and allow all the area of representation to really promote what your area is best known for. So that we truly go back to that heritage where the village raises the queen. But that's in two manifestation, which allows the show to on the opening gala night to really be free, so that there'll be the judging of the talent and the recycled way before the actual 21st, of which would be the formal opening. So there are several things that will happen. And as you know, the source or the substance to what you do has to have some secret in what you're doing. Anybody who's doing marketing strategy understands that you have to at least place these things so that they can build interest and you can create the support you need by rolling out things in a manner that's consistent with what your end game is. And that's what's going to happen. Today is just the start of those things.
Is this just a hint?
It's a hint of those things that is to come. And mind you, there are a lot of things to come.
Now, last year there was a change to the age. There was some change,
yes,
a change to the age range.
You can be 18, from the age of 18 to 40, married, unmarried. It is not so, like, again, I said, your personality, because it's not about... it's not a Miss Universe, it's not a Miss World. It's about you, that young woman or that woman who the village or group or community figures, this is the person we figure could best tell our statement for this year and at this time. And a lot of women have been able to do that and have benefited from that kind of exposure. Because we are talking about how we empower the women. And you know, women have been at the forefront a lot in recent time. And we continue to celebrate the women. And the symbol for the heritage is about the woman seeding, the woman in procreation, and by extension, the youths. And you know more than anything else that the Bible says that the children are the heritage of the Lord. And the fruit, may I say so, is the reward of the womb. And so we are like surrogate mothers and fathers, so we are trying to raise those cultural and traditional heritage children.
All right, I want to ask you here about the economic value and economic benefit, the monetary value to the heritage product in Tobago. Has it been, is it that source of revenue? Has it been that source of revenue? Will 2023 be that source of revenue?
But that is just it, Rhea. Over the last, and what I've been able to look at, I mean, when this festival started, and I had to do some research in 1986 and had its first manifestation in 1987, what the records show is that the THA would have given $1,000. And a group of people who would have thought that couldn't do what they had to do would have gone cap in hand through the streets of Trinidad, etc. I would have accumulated some $60,000. 5 villages were able to stage what they would have been doing at the period. Over that period of time, over 3 decades later, it has grown exponentially, so that it moved and morphed into a lot more. But then the burden of to the state also became more. Infrastructure, setting up today, removing it tomorrow, now, moving it. And then the truth be told that we are set up to do these things in a period that's considered unsafe weather. So the weather, the inclement weather, which is unpredictable, changes the variables.
Yeah.
If I look at what I've seen recently and pre and post COVID, the sponsorship has not been great. So we are now looking at how we can revive the sponsorship. And so there has been a dedicated attempt by the planning committee. And so we have revisited the sponsorship packages and we have renamed them and put additional values and things that we figured could bring a value to the sponsors. And so we can have that corporate embrace and that collaboration throughout reach. It's early in the game, but it's promising. And that's the other thing. How much are we willing to give for how much are we willing to have? And that's it. So we have to now look at how do we creatively come out of the box and do just that. How much more can we do with what we have? We all know that the economic climate seems to suggest that there's need for prudent spending.
And what is the economic spend this year for 2023?
Well, we still are working the figures out, and now I'm saying by the time we get back here, and I'm going to be back next week, we should wait to see, because we are looking at what the corporate involvement is going to be.
But there's already a program.
Pardon?
There's already a program.
Yes.
Outline.
Yes, there is.
But no.
Right. So it's not even fixed. I prefer not to see the figure just yet, so I don't talk what I may not be quoted as saying properly. But yes, we do have a figure, and that is why the construct of the calendar is what it is, because it's within what we consider to be safe and reachable.
All right. Now, I know that we will make arrangements to have you or other persons from the festival will
back
with
us. Who has responsibilities for the other areas, like Janelle Franklin for the personality, and we have Kimmy Potts who's doing Calypso. So we have agencies, representation who's going to be here to treat with some of those things that are going to be developing as we go.
All right,
and we are early. Yeah. Today's only July the 9th.
Yes.
June the 9th, sorry.
June.
And we are well ahead, and we are set and ready to go, and we are, like we said, willing to pay homage and ready to pay homage to those things that we honor, celebrate, and inspire.
And the screening for the Miss Heritage Personality takes place?
It has already started, and it will end on the 17th, I think it is. And 17th. The actual queens would be released based on their submissions. This same thing will happen and is been advised for calypsonians who are expected to sing an original song not offered anywhere else in a previous competition, and that pays reverence to the reflection of the team.
All right. So tell our viewers this morning here, Jessie Taylor, why the Tobago Heritage Festival for 2023 is a must attend.
Why is it a
must attend?
Well, it's a must attend because it's our natural heritage. A people without a culture is a people without a soul. Our blood, sweat, and tears is nestled in this. Where we are positioned, tourism is at the helm of what we do. And it can only enhance the product. But not only that, it makes way and paves the way for our innovators, our artisans, our entrepreneurs to be able to give value. We are just out of the period of COVID, and we are at a place where we can start afresh. Subsequent to this, yes, we would have reignited the flames, we have rekindled all the fire, and we are set to pay homage. Everyone is part of that homage because, like the sub-team suggests, we are honoring all the people from the past as fast as we can. We are celebrating those of the present. We are inspiring the future. It's about all are we and who all are we be, and that's all of Tobago, and by extension, the rest of the world, and in those in the diaspora.
I want to ask you very quickly here, in terms of the monetary gain or benefits to the Heritage Festival and to Tobago after the Heritage Festival, what are some of the opportunities that are in place for to continue earning?
And that's just what we're trying. I'm glad you asked it, Ria, because we are trying to create that sense of, community independence. How do we value our heritage and the tourism product outside of what is the 2-week period. How do you take what you would have learned or what you would have practiced, what you would have been taught in any space, any community space? What is the vehicle you use to foster the growth of that and the safe transference of that? I would hope that at the end of it that we will be able to have these things transferred to a generation that's going to benefit from what they would have been learning. Because the fact is that if I look back, I started this as a child. And now that I am big and old, I'm now looking at where are those people, those youths, because the children are in fact the future. And the songwriter was correct. If we treat them well and help them, they will lead the way. But until we invest, and that's largely what this speaks to what we are trying to do, to instill in the youths a sense of pride. Teach them. And if we teach them, they should learn. Because if you train up the child in the path that you should grow, you should not easily depart from it. So we are hoping that the tomorrow and the tomorrow that will come, because what we have today is today's children who becomes tomorrow's future leaders. And we need to instill in them that sense of knowing who you are, being proud of who you are, but willing, if you believe you can fly, then fly, and so.
All right, and we're wrapping things up with you here, but Tobago Steven Spielberg says on the live this morning, heritage productions can be professionally filmed, recorded, and packaged and distributed worldwide through different forms of the media. So opportunities again to earn.
And that's the conversation we've been having. We have met with every single group, and we have asked them, how do you move this from just the village night? And what else, how else can you put this into a space that you can use it for community economic growth? And how does it become feasible? If you set up tonight, you take it down, what else is in the mix? How do you move the wedding from Mariah into any other place or any other person? How do you do a postcard and get it on cups and mugs? And how do you take it to other places that the group can benefit from the wide nation spend and the public purse? I hope that Tobago listens and Tobago really takes cognizance of what we have been doing for 35 years, because it's about time the game be changed.
That's right. Thank you so much for chatting with us this morning, Jesse Taylor, Cultural Officer to the Division of Tourism and Culture. Because we're going to leave it there for this time. We've got lots more coming up on the Tobago Updates morning show. When we come back, we'll be chatting with Jason Gooding, event organizer for the Rainbow Cup. Along with him this morning, all the way from Grenada, Nina James. And it's all about the Tobago Rainbow Cup 2023. Share the live, share the live, share the live.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We are chatting this morning about the Tobago Rainbow Cup 2023. And who better to chat with us this morning is Jason Gooding, my friend from, I have to say, long days ago. And Jason is the event organizer for the Rainbow Cup. And joining us all the way from the Spice Isle is Nina James, the Grenada National Triathlon Champion. Good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning.
It's good to have you with us. Jason, I understand that you're now living in Grenada.
Yes. I moved, I'm almost there 2 years now.
Wow.
Kind of moved when everything was, COVID, where nothing was really happening. And then I'm talking to all my friends over there and the beaches were open, schools were open.
So that's what drew you?
Yeah, I was just the uncertainty of being over here and not knowing when schools are going to open, not knowing when events were going to begin again, not knowing, just not even being able to go to the beach.
And I know that's where your heart is.
My lifestyle.
Yes.
Yeah. So we just decided once my wife and my family decided once things were open, we were going to try it out, and it's not bad. Very similar to Tobago with nicer roads. No, Tobago has nicer roads. That's what I wanted to say.
Oh, okay.
Nina and I were just commenting on that this morning.
Well, we'll take that. We'll certainly take that. Now, let me ask you here, for those persons who are joining us for the very first time or seeing this interview with you for the first time, what information can you give us on the triathlon? Some of us are familiar with the Rainbow Cup Triathlon because you've been with us here in Tobago for a few years.
Only 17. Only 17.
Like I said, only 17, that's right. So tell us, what can you tell us in terms of what information? What is it all about?
Well, I just want to start with some history. I remember coming here for the first few times, and people couldn't even pronounce the word triathlon.
Yes.
Weren't aware of what a triathlon is, that it involves swimming, cycling, running, in that order most times.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's nice to see now that people in Black Rock community, where the event is happening down at Turtle Beach this Saturday, that they're more open to it. People are aware, they see the signs, they see the...
and they're excited.
Yeah, they get excited. We're very grateful that the holes and all that stuff got patched Wednesday. And we see, CPEP doing a really good job of cleaning up the area. So it's actually starting to take shape. A lot of the athletes came in yesterday for the event. So it's quite busy. So if you are driving through Pleasant Prospect, Black Rock, Turtle Beach area, we'd ask you to take a little bit of caution, have a little patience for the cyclists. We have a lot of newcomers to the event and to the sport. So we're just asking people that they drive with a little bit of caution. So the event is basically swim, cycle, run.
Right.
Our first event is standard distance triathlon. It used to be called the Olympic distance triathlon, but then the Olympics decided we should not use their branding. So it's now called a standard distance triathlon. And that involves a 1.5 kilometer swim, 40 kilometer cycle, and a 10 kilometer run. Usually when we have a lot of internationals doing the event, they would do that event. And that is also the event and the distances that they will use in the Olympic Games. Right after that, we have the sprint triathlon, which is half of the Olympic distance, or the standard distance. This is what Nina will be participating in. And this is a 750 meter swim, 20 kilometer cycle, and a 5 kilometer run. For a lot of the new people coming into the sport, and we have a big junior category. I mean, this year we have about 80 youngsters in the juniors, between 7 to 9, 10 to 12, and 13 to 15. They'll be doing a shorter distance, which is half of the sprint triathlon, and that's 375 meters swim, a 10 kilometer bike, and a 2.5 kilometer run. Everything happens between Pleasant Prospect and Starfish Hotel. So we're going to have, from Saturday, we're going to have that road closed off, totally blocked off by the police. Something we've been doing for the last 8 years. And thankfully, because the event has grown so much in the past few years that it's hard to have cars and bikes and runners and all that stuff. We were ending up with a lot of accidents. And I went one year to the ACP and I said, listen, if something tragic happens on this is going to be the last time I put this event on in Tobago. People aren't coming here to risk their lives to do an event. So we are very grateful to have the roads closed off, and the police they do a fantastic job of keeping it closed. And as well as the Black Rock community, like I said, very supportive, understanding that this event brings revenue to Tobago, brings revenue to Black Rock, brings revenue to anybody that is willing to or has the foresight to see how they can benefit from having this many athletes come to the island. And the downstream economy from having an event like this, or any event, is tremendous if you look and see how you can benefit from it.
All right, now I want to chat a little bit here with Nina. Nina, it's good to have you in Tobago. Welcome to Tobago. Is this your first visit?
No, this is my second visit.
Your second visit.
Yes.
How would you compare? Because I heard Jason mention it. He said that you guys were talking before you came on set about how much better our roads are than in Grenada. Grenada, I'm sorry, my roots are there, my heart is there. But how would you compare? How would you compare the cycling here as compared with the cycling there? The landscape itself.
I mean, the roads are definitely a lot wider here than they are in Grenada. I think Grenada have a lot of narrow roads that are like shorter and they're just kind of difficult, especially because there's so many cars. And so I think here seeing the roads is like, wow, luxury. But some parts of Grenada have nice roads. But yeah, no, the roads here are nice.
All right. And how did you get involved in triathlon?
I started in 2019. When COVID was just first starting, and I did like some camp in Grenada for a triathlon program, and I really enjoyed it. I was first as national swimmer of Grenada, and then I moved to triathlon, and I've been doing it since. I don't know, I just love it.
What attracted you? What captivated you?
I could swim really good, and I was interested in running, and then my coach, Mandy, at the time, she was a triathlete, she was an Iron woman, and she told me that I should definitely try for triathlon. So I did my first triathlon in Grenada in 2019, and I loved it.
So swimming, you'd say, is your strongest?
Yes,
okay,
for sure.
All right, Jason, let's see if Nina can compete with some of the athletes here. Now, the Rainbow Cup has grown, as we indicated. So you've gone beyond Trinidad and Tobago, beyond the Caribbean walls, and you are now international. What can we expect this year? Any newcomers, any newbies?
I didn't really push it very international this year. I pushed it more Trinidad, Tobago, regionally. Just because it's the first real year being back, like, proper recovery after COVID. Last year, even though we had the event, it was just kind of like, let's just run everything very basic, just to have an event and let people know that the event is back. And so this year we really, I mean, when I do marketing, there's a few extras, WhatsApp broadcasts and all that stuff, but we have such a following in Trinidad and even Tobago. With teams coming up now, there's another local organizer in Tobago, NWBC Hall. He's been putting on the above average. So really good. And I mean, it's a matter of time before we start seeing triathlon teams coming out of Tobago. And this is what is happening in Trinidad. We have a school series that's happening. A lot of schools follow the series. In a primary school, we have over 150 athletes doing the primary school series races. We have just over 100 in the secondary schools. So we have that following. Then these when they're outside of school, they need to have triathlon clubs to come and train with. So it's growing. And like I said, we have a big following from Trinidad and Tobago coming over for the event this year. So that's where our tourism is mostly, and just the region. But next year, we plan to push it like fully international and start getting the Canadians coming back, the Germans, the Europeans coming back for the event.
All right, now, director's saying that we're out of time, but I know very quickly we've got to mention some of those sponsors really quickly.
Yes, so we definitely like to thank our sponsors. This year, M&M Insurance Brokerage Services, Tobago Beyond, which is Tobago Tourism Agency, Massey, Subway, all night active. We have Blue Waters with our water, Universal Ambulance, 80 Performance Lab, Classic Awards who's doing our classics. We our trophies, B-Mobile, Subway. I mentioned that before. This is national championship, so the Trinidad and Tobago Triathlon Federation, we have to support them and thank them. Odyssey Timing for doing our electronic race results. And of course, it's hosted by the Rainbow Warriors Triathlon Club. You can get all the information and more information about the event by going to the website, rainbowcuptobago.com, or following us on Instagram, Rainbow Warriors Triathlon Club. I think it's RWTCTT. So just search your Rainbow Cup, you get all the information about the event. We'd love to see you come down to the event on Saturday. We have many different events for different ages, abilities. Come down. The roads are going to be closed, so they have some detour routes. So check our website for the detour routes. But if not, just get to Pleasant Prospect and walk down, or Black Rock, or the back of YMCA.
Get your way there.
Come down and check it out. It's going to be fun.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Jason Gooding and Nina, all the way from Grenada, the Isle of Spice. Isn't it beautiful?
Yes,
it sure is. It sure is. Well, viewers, we want to thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great day. Have a wonderful weekend. Yes, it's the start of the weekend. Yes, from yesterday and Wednesday. So we trust that you continue enjoying all that Tobago has to offer. And have a great day, great weekend. Stay safe, and we will see you on Monday. We're going to head on over to Tobago Notes and then over to GMT. Bye-bye, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Occupational Safety and Health Department, formerly Safety and Health Unit, was established in 2012 as a strategic approach by the THA to comply with the Occupational Safety and Health Act. This department is responsible for the development and implementation of an OSH management system throughout all divisions of the THA.
A warm welcome to the 9th Annual Tobago House of Assembly's Occupational Safety and Health Awards Ceremony 2023. This ceremony marks the culmination of all of the activities that took place in commemoration of the ILO's World Day for Safety and Health at Work 2023, which is celebrated worldwide today. The activities hosted by the department embody the theme for this year: a safe and healthy working environment is a fundamental principle and right at work.
We want to use this opportunity to thank all of you for your service to the THA, service in the private sector as well. I want to thank all of you for ensuring that we keep our workers safe, so that workers can go home safely every evening to their families. And we will keep working. This is a commitment that we'll keep working as far as resources are available in ensuring that the work environment remains safe, hospitable, and healthy for all our workers.
Was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Tapicom. Welcome to the future. The only card you will need in a new world. Digital business cards. Safe, hassle-free. The future is here. Tapicom. New generation digital transfer. Digital time clock cards. Digital attendance cards. Air tags. Customized designs. Digital clothing tags. Digital pet tags. Tapicom. The future is here. Contact us today.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong.
It's insurance.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates, guys. You know, when you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have to get your morning started, and I'm going to ask the questions that you want to know. Now, this morning, the conversations are going to be extremely interesting, as the conversations has even started before the cameras began rolling. But I look forward to this morning's conversation, and I know you will as well. But before we get into all of that, guys, I'm going to give you your news in 90 seconds. So on Wednesday, the 7th of June, 2023, two divisions under the THA were present at the 19th meeting of the Joint Select Committee on Local Authorities, Service Commissions, and Statutory Authorities, including the THA, the Division of Finance, Trade and Economy, and Tourism, Culture, Antiquities, and Transportation. The primary aim of this follow-up meeting was to evaluate the progress made by the THA in implementing the recommendations in the report of the 16th meeting of the JSC from 2016. The Division of Finance, Trade and Economy presented on the impact of COVID on the economy, strategies for post-COVID recovery, revenue generation, and attracting foreign direct investment. The Division of Tourism presented on two major events on the island, the Tobago Jazz Experience and the October Carnival, as it relates to arrivals and airlifts. Based on the responses from the representatives of the two divisions, both events seem to have suffered sufficient deficit. Additionally, both divisions appeared to be unprepared for the meeting, and this was further compounded by the absence of senior officials of the Tobago Tourism Agency. And finally, in a Facebook post from the minority leader, Kelvin Morris, I quote, So you all have no problem spending the big bucks, but at the same time, you all don't want to answer the people of Trinidad and Tobago, end quote. In an exclusive interview from Tobago Updates, Senator Lawrence Hislop said the division lacks overall managerial direction and accountability. At the JSC, the Division of Finance stated accounting records are mostly manual and that the Assembly will start digitalizing those records this fiscal year with the Executive Council minutes and the Hansard reports of the Assembly legislature. Additionally, an update on non-tourism foreign investment projects on the island, including a potential strawberry farm, was mentioned. And that was your news in 90 seconds. So guys, if you realize that in the news this morning, most of the conversation is surrounding that Joint Select Committee sitting that took place on June the 7th, where the THA presented before that committee to give their reports. And as the news story would have stated, we had the Division of Trade, Finance, Trade and the Economy, as well as the Division of Tourism, Culture and Antiquities there. Now, for those of you who do not necessarily understand what that JSC sitting is about and why it's important, we're going to get into that conversation this morning. And to have that conversation with me, I have Mr. Lawrence Hislop, who's Senator Lawrence Hislop, and he's here with us this morning, and we're going to be discussing that in detail. He's going to give us a lot of background as he also sits on that Joint Select Committee. And on the side of the Division of Finance, Trade and the Economy, I have sitting with me this morning Mr. Anselm Richards, who is well-known to Tobago in regards to being an economist, many times a political strategist and analyst, but also a chief advisor in the Assembly. And we are happy and excited to have you guys here this morning. And I know that you guys noticed that we will have basically two sides of the coin. So this is going to be an extremely interesting conversation. But before I start off with the conversation this morning, I just want to applaud you guys for agreeing to sit together this morning. It shows a level of political maturity and the fact that Tobago's development is first and foremost of paramount importance outside of the politics itself. Mr. Richards, you have always maintained great relationships with members on the other side, the PNM, which is quite admirable. And Mr. Hislop, you have shown your own maturity this morning by agreeing to have Mr. Richards accompany you on set this morning. So we look forward to this conversation. But as we start off, I want to give you, Mr. Hislop, the opportunity to really explain to Tobagonians, even from the grassroots level, what this JSC sitting was about and its importance, so that the regular, average, everyday Joe could have an understanding of what exactly was this JSC sitting about.
Morning, Tobago. Morning, Chanel. Morning, Mr. Richards. It's indeed good to be here, as always. It's my first time being on set with you, Chanel. And so I look forward to the discussion this morning. The Joint Select Committee system of the Parliament is set up as a watchdog for the government of the day. You have the separation, well, we know the separation of, quote-unquote, separation of powers, where you have the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. The legislature plays a significant role in its oversight of the governance structure in Trinidad and Tobago. And part of that oversight is the Joint Select Committee process. There are several committees that make up that system within the Parliament. And this specific committee that I'm on, the one on local authorities, statutory bodies, including the THA, is just one of the committees that I sit on as a member. The committee's responsibility is oversight. So you will notice that the committee is comprised of both opposition and government members, as well as independent senators. The chairman of the committee is an independent senator. And so that gives us a broad remit in terms of the oversight. This committee has specific responsibilities for your statutory bodies, your local authorities, your service commissions, including the Tobago House of Assembly. So what happened on Wednesday is part of the operations of the Parliament, where entities or government ministries are asked to come before the committee and to, I don't like to use the word interrogated, but you are questioned based on what transpires within the specific ministry. In this regard, the committee chose to it was a follow-up session or a follow-up sitting. Initially, this was done in, I think it was 2016. So it was done in 2016. There were some recommendations that came out of that. And from that, the committee decided to have a follow-up interrogation of these two entities.
And for my own clarity and the clarity of viewers watching, was this session specific to the management and the running of the organization, or was it specific to finances or the financial management?
So I'll give you what the committee said. This is a follow-up examination on the second report of the committee in the 11th Parliament 2015 to 2020 on an inquiry into certain aspects of the administration of the Tobago House of Assembly. So there was a report that was laid from the initial meeting in 2016. Mm-hmm. And so what the committee is seeking to do is to see where the THA was in regards to where it is now versus where it was in 2016.
In regards to the recommendations that were made.
That's right. In regards to the recommendations that were given to the Tobago House of Assembly.
Right. And in understanding the role of the JSC and the committee and the sitting that took place on the 7th, give us a little bit of perspective from the THA angle going into this meeting and the type of preparation that it took to sit before the committee.
Let me say good morning to Tobago and thank you, Brother Hislop, for agreeing to this joint sitting of the Tobago Joint Select Committee this morning. And I just want to segue by getting into something that Mr. Hislop said. He said the Joint Select Committee is set up to exercise oversight over the government of the day. We must understand in this country that we have two governments. Two governments. We have the national government and we have the national parliament, which is the national legislature, and we have the island government of Tobago, with the legislature in Tobago, which is the Tobago House Assembly. So we have to, and this is an issue that we need to, and I have advised the Chief Secretary to get a legal opinion as to whether this JSC issue should extend to the deputies extending into the operation of the THA, given the fact that we are already by section 46 of the THA Constitution. The examination of the THA's accounts and operation is subject to the scrutiny of the Auditor General Office as provided for in section 46 of the THA Act, which is section 16 of the Constitution. So we have been scrutinized at the THA at that level so that the Auditor General come in and look into the operation of the THA. And then we have the JSC, which I think is a misplaced issue, coming into the THA down to the level of a division and asking the division how much ticket they sold for jazz. But that is another issue. And Mr. Hislop will clear up some of these issues as we go forward, I hope. So that is something Tobagonian needs to have a conversation on, whether the JSC at this micro level has jurisdiction in looking that deep, or whether we should be called before our legislator up in Scarborough there and drill down and let Mr. Morris and his team and the team from the Assembly get into these micro issues in the operation of the people's business in Tobago. That's one consideration that we need to give to this whole proceeding. And that is probably a higher conversation for us and the national government. The other thing is that Mr. Hislop needs to explain further the procedures of the Joint Select Committee. Because what happens is that Mr. Hislop Committee would have sent a body of questions, including the recommendation he spoke of, and saying, we want you to submit written submission in response to these recommendations where you are and these new questions so that we can get a better sighting of where the THA is on these matters. We would have prepared those submissions I was part of the team that prepared the submission on behalf of the Division of Finance. I also interface with the division team in preparation of tourism. And I have the questions here. These questions were sent, we provide significant response. The appearance, as far as I understand and my research has shown me, the appearance of the witnesses, the THA officials, before the committee is to facilitate any clarity that may emanate from the committee in relation to your written submission, and to advance the whole principle of full disclosure. Here is this. You appear before a committee that tells you you are coming to answer these questions in your trial on murder. And when you appear, Mr. Hislop and the committee want to try you on fraud, asking you why you sleep out with the woman last night, why you this, what color shirt you're wearing. You don't run, you are breaching your own rules. Because you set the rules, and when we apply the rules and appear, you come with a parallel inquiry to what you said you're going to try your son.
Okay. However, Mr. Richards, that's your interpretation of their role and their function. But Mr. Hislop himself is here this morning, so he can offer clarity.
But is the rules
on the criteria for oversight that his committee works on. So let's get into that a bit.
First and foremost, no entities on trial before a joint select committee.
Well,
you did say interrogation.
Yeah, right. So okay, fine. We interrogate the information.
Okay. Call it where you
want. And so
I just use that as a hypothetical.
Commissary. We are having a discussion. That's the reason I came here this morning. Yes. I said very clearly I don't want to come here for a debate. We come in to discuss what was happening. The initial questions, and I'll treat it a couple of things. The initial questions that the
Let's
committee...
start off with the criteria, and then we get down into the
questions. So the committees have a broad remit.
Okay.
The committees are set to treat with... Okay, for example, I'm on another committee called the PAAC, which treats with almost every aspect of the governance system. You have the Public Accounts Committee that treats with the Auditor General's report, because Mr. Richards alluded to the Auditor General's report. The Auditor General's report is laid in Parliament. So it becomes... So what we have to understand is that the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago has complete oversight, because where do you come for your financial allocations every year? It is passed in the national budget. You sit in a finance committee that goes through the allocations line by line. Now, the finance committee is made up of the entire House of Representatives, and it is gone through line by line as to what ministry, what entity gets what allocation. When that allocation is given to the respective ministries, there is a responsibility for the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago to account to the people of Trinidad and Tobago where their monies are going and what it is doing. And so when the Auditor General drills down into Tobago's finances and the management of the finances, and that is laid in Parliament, which now becomes public record, the Public Accounts Committee could now interrogate that information from the Auditor General. You have the other committees of the Parliament that deal with not only financial operations of various entities, but also the management. The Ministry of Sport came before PAAC, and we were treating with public pools and the management of public pools throughout Trinidad, right? And so the committees have their remit and their responsibility, not to the entities, their responsibility are to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. The second thing, according to the law, there is no government of Tobago. There's a Tobago House of Assembly that deals with the administrative governance of the island. But when you want to talk about the Parliament does not have jurisdiction over the Tobago House of Assembly, where does the Tobago House of Assembly subvention come from? It comes from the parliament. You see, when the autonomy bills were laid, which would have given, so the same committee system that we have at the parliament is some of the same committee systems that would have been built out at the Tobago House or the Tobago legislature when Tobago would have been called the Tobago Island Government. Those same oversight committees or similar oversight committees would have been set up to interrogate more into the operations of the Tobago House of Assembly. The second thing, the questions, or the third thing, the questions are given as a guide for the sitting. But coming out of those questions, based on how the conversations go in the sitting, additional information can be sought. And the committees throughout the parliament have never had an issue with entities saying to them, we will forward this to you in writing. The committees have never had an issue because the questions that are sent to the entities, the submission papers that are requested, because the questions are built off of the information that comes to the committee. So the committee sends, say, we would like to meet with you. These are the criteria that we want. You send in a submission document, and the questions, what we call the issues papers, are built out of that.
Okay. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back and we'll continue on with this conversation and we get more clarity on that and we allow for response by Mr. Richards. Guys, see you soon right after this.
Passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
October will never be better with Tobago Carnival fever. Book your passage and come on over.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. If you're just joining us, guys, we're having a very interesting conversation regarding that GSC sitting that took place earlier this week on the 7th of June. And so before we left off for the break, we had Senator Hislop who was really explaining to us the remit of the committee about in regards to some of the questions that were asked and how that is structured. Now, before we got into that, Mr. Richards would have asked him to explicitly highlight the procedure or the boundaries within which these questions are asked, and he would have stated that out of the issue paper is where most of the questions are presented. Now, Mr. Richards, I want to find out from you, because you said that your interpretation was that you are coming to the committee to further explain the submissions that were made in writing. When you guys were contacted to sit before the JSU, was that explicitly explained to you, or was it made clear?
And Mr. Hislop has confirmed that in his presentation without realizing, because he's saying that the question that they should ask should emanate from the issue papers. That is the question they would have sent. The submissions, right? The submissions, right? As follow-up to bring, and that is what I said, to bring further clarity in advancing the whole principle of full disclosure. But I want to return to a point that Mr. Hislop made, to say that there is no island government. But Mr. Hislop and others could define this thing as they want. But what I understand, and Mr. Hislop, Prime Minister, would have said it on numerous occasions, that this country is being managed and run by two executives, the Cabinet and the Executive Council. So the government of Trinidad produces the executive in the form of the cabinet, and the government of Tobago provides the executive in the form of the executive council. Mr. Hislop and others could define it how it wants. That is what obtains. That is how the country is structured. That is how it's run. And behind the government of the national government, the cabinet, you have the legislature, which is the parliament, that sets up these joint committee. Then in the Tobago, we have the Tobago House Assembly, which is our legislature. I am asking, and my simple question was, whether this level of inquiry is well placed or misplaced. Whether we should be having that in Tobago with our legislators asking our public servants how you spend your money, how much ticket you print for jazz, how much you sell, or whether we want an entity that resides on another government structure to have that kind of overreach. That's all I'm saying, whether that is well placed, and I think this is a matter that needs some kind of constitutional interpretation. That's my position. Mr. Hislop is free to disagree. Let me turn back now to the actual operations of the Joint Select Committee.
And what was requested when they asked
you
to present?
So they sent questions, and the recommendation out of the 2016 hearing that they had. We responded in full details, right? And as I said before, we appeared to provide further clarity on those things that they say we want answers to. That is what the committee did. We appeared. Then we have a whole new parallel inquiry asking for all kinds of information. Because, for instance, if Mr. Hislop was interested in visitors' arrival to the island, that should have been one of the inquiring questions. It's not that the data was not available, as the observers would have seen. At the end of the day, the witnesses from tourism was able to call and the data was provided. But they never indicated in their request, in their setup for this inquiry, that they were interested in these kinds of information. So obviously, or apparently, the team from tourism did not work with the data set. I had it on my computer. And that's why I told the committee that the data is available, but it will be a little challenge to pull it up. The data is information. But you called us to this inquiry, explaining in writing that these are the things we want to examine you on. Submit your written responses. We did that. We appeared. But you're asking everybody's cell phone. You're asking everybody's computer. You're asking everybody's. And then when you don't get the answers you're looking for, you said you are disappointed that the THA cannot answer these simple questions. And where is the discipline at the level of the committee in carrying out its responsibility to the people of Trinidad and Tobago? Or is it intended to create public misinformation and mischief? I don't know.
Okay. However, a number of the questions were surrounding how were the services procured and the arrival numbers to Tobago. And we would hope that members of the Division of Tourism would readily have this information at their disposal because of the level of work that they are doing. So regardless to the fact that some of the questions may not have been sent before, don't you think that it is imperative for individuals at that level of the assembly to understand the intricacies of the festivals that they are running and spending this level of money to manage on the island?
And I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm saying if you send and call me and tell me you want to examine me on bananas, and I wrote up my whole thesis on banana and come to defend it, and you're asking me, you are questioning me now on lettuce. Although I may have information on lettuce, I have not shown up prepared to discuss lettuce with you.
I understand, but given the nature of their job, a number of these things should be basic for them to be able to respond to.
And I'm saying, who walks around with the arrival numbers in their heads to say is 10,000? Come on, let's be fair.
Mr. Hislop, talk to us about the deviation from some of the main questions that were submitted. And what was the reasoning behind this, or what would have led the committee to ask a number of questions that were not presented prior to the sitting?
No, as I said before, the initial questions that are sent to any ministry, any division, any entity are guides. That's what they are.
Okay.
What we have, you see, I don't understand what the challenge is with, and I want to make it abundantly clear. Mr. Richards keeps saying that if Mr. Hislop wanted the information, when I sit on a joint select committee, I sit as a member of the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago with a responsibility to the people. We have been advised over and over again. Do not allow the committees to become political. And I think that's the reason why you don't see the members introducing themselves as government senator or opposition MP. Although I heard my colleague from the opposition bench for the first time introduce herself as an opposition member of parliament. Because that's not something that we do. We usually just say Lawrence Hislop member. Because you see, and there's another reason too. You notice that if you look throughout all joint select committees, ministers are hardly ever asked to come to a committee. The persons who face a joint select committee are usually the technocrats of the ministries and the divisions. And so when you say to us that basic information in tourism has arrival numbers, even if that was not one of the original questions, that's basic information. You're dealing with the division of tourism. Your clients are visitors to the island. And so basic information as to what your arrival numbers are, that's a no-brainer where a question is concerned. And yes, I understand that information was not available. And we may argue that it should have been because it's basic information. But as I've shared before, the committees have never had a challenge with ministries saying to us, we don't have that information right now. Could we provide it? Because I really have a challenge with the complaints. Because so many other ministries have come before committees on a regular basis. And government ministers who are on the committees, drill ministries.
Right.
Drill them as if it is not their government in office. Because you see, you're not drilling a politician, you're drilling a technocrat who is supposed to be fully aware of his or her role and responsibility. And so, as I said, the questions are a guide. And the chairman of the committee, at any point in time, can ask a question based on the ministry or the entity that is before us. It is up to the entity to say, Mr. Chairman, we don't have that information. Could we kindly provide that in writing at a later stage? Okay. And I invite the public to go and view. You see, this issue came up to be a big thing because it's the THA that is being interrogated.
All right.
You know, there were about
I really like you saying stuff. Let me tell you why.
about 4 committees meeting.
And I'd love for you to respond, Mr. Richards, but we desperately need to take a break, especially the fact that you said the committee has no problem with them responding later on.
Okay, good.
Because a statement was made that you were extremely disappointed.
We were disappointed because because it's basic information. You are contradicting.
But you're saying that the committee over the years had no challenge with people saying if the information is an adjacent request to the information that was asked for in the original submission, you have no problem with it. But when you and the committee, including your chairman, is in the middle of the inquiry saying we are disappointed.
Because what we were disappointed on was
take a break right here and we will come back right
if you are saying that it is a norm for that, why are you so disappointed?
Arrival.
Rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the sky.
Do something, Johnny. Call fire. What's the number? Oh, God.
Fan emergency, good afternoon. You said the building is on fire. Are there any persons trapped? 4 persons. What is the address of the call, ma'am? Number 4, Candy Drive, Pier Road. Can I have your name, please? Miss Bihari. Thank you, Miss Bihari. I'll be dispatching an appliance. Central Control from Fire Control.
Go ahead, Fire Control.
Central Control receiving over.
Central Control, have a plans and crew. Respond to our residential fire. Residential fire. Same is at number 4, Kakandi Drive, Pero Tribonas. 4 persons are trapped, 2 adults, 2 children. They were unable to make contact with fire service, so she called on their behalf.
Transmission received loud and clear, loud and clear. Operator at Central Control, 3463, Firefighter Wiley, Central Control.
Create an evacuation plan for you and your family and practice your escape. Always ensure you have more than one way to safely exit your home. Your lives may depend on it.
Are you looking for a place for your loved ones? Heavenly Care welcomes you. Located at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors, we offer a variety of services. These include doctor visitations, social activities, geriatric care, and much more. Contact us at 277-9595 or visit us at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors. At Heavenly Care, compassion is at the heart of all care.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Right, good morning again, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. And as I have said this morning, we're having really interesting conversations as I sit with Senator Lawrence Hislop and Mr. Anselm Richards. And we have been chatting a lot about that JSC sitting that took place on the 7th of June, where the THA was asked to come and account for a number of things, including some of the festivals that have been taking place and some of the post-COVID recovery strategies at the Division of Finance, Trade and the Economy. And before we went to a break, I would have asked Senator Hislop to clarify a bit for us why he would have stated that there's no problem in entities coming before the committee and stating that they will provide the information at a later date or in writing. However, they also indicated at the end of the sitting that they were disappointed. So we just asked him to offer some clarity in that. Was it okay or was it disappointing, Senator Hislop?
So if you recognize the areas that, or the area that all 3 members who said they were disappointed in was the basic information about arrival numbers. That is what we were disappointed in. If you go back to the tape, you'd recognize that member Maurice Julian said that. I said that, and the chairman said that. So it's not that we contradicting ourselves in stating that you can provide information at a later date. But usually when that is allowed or that is requested is when it is very detailed information about a specific issue. And so the detailed information may not be available at the point in time to the technocrat or the official of the ministry. And so the official says, we would like to provide that in writing. But what we're saying is that when you are the Division of Tourism, and I heard it somewhere on the airwaves this morning as well, you are the Division of Tourism. Your as I said, your clients are visitors to the island. Tobago is the product. And so a basic thing as how many people came to your island between a particular period of time, is something that you should have, if not on your fingertips, but in a document. You're coming before a joint select committee and you are to expect questions, wide-ranging questions about the entity that you represent. And so that is what we were disappointed in. We recognize, especially the Division of Tourism, was not fully prepared for the Joint Select Committee. And let's not try and downplay it and make it seem as if the JSC was on a witch hunt. The Joint Select Committees are not on witch hunts. I sit on the PAAC that is chaired by Madam Speaker. And when you hear how Madam Speaker deals with ministries and other government ministers deal with ministries, why do divisions in the THA? Why are we? And I shouldn't say the divisions, but why are people offended by the way the GSC was doing its job? That's the responsibility of the GSC. I said on another platform that the chamber, the plenary is in the House of Commons. They call it theatre because there's a lot of politicking that takes place sometimes in the chamber. But when you come to the Joint Select Committee system in the Parliament, that's where you get the information. You know, there's information that will come out in a GSC that will never come out in a sit-in, because you get to bring the technocrats before you who have a responsibility to answer to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And that's all we're saying.
And Mr. Richards, I want to come to you in relation to the preparedness of the Assembly when sitting before the GSC.
Right. So, and I went through this over and over, and I really like Mr. Hislop, and Mr. Hislop had to either be a fish or a fowl, because he can't come and tell us that the committee is not normally disappointed or offended when ministries or people appearing before it say they will provide the information to adjacent question to the written submission at a later time, right? But when it happens to the THA, or in the case of the THA, Mr. Hislop, Ms. Julian and the chairman stating their public disappointment. And if you look at the tape, you will see at the end, the data that they had asked for was being provided by Corey Nancis, a member of the team. Because and it was said earlier that the information is available. However, we don't have it here because that was not one of the questions they asked. So apparently, the team did not have the data readily before them. But they did indicate it in their response that the information is available. We will provide it later. However, during the sit-in, the team was able to mobilize and get the data, and the data was actually presented. But yet, Mr. Hislop didn't even withdraw his disappointment. The chairman didn't see it fit to withdraw his disappointment. And the lady who keeps saying it's a simple question, she didn't see it simply important to withdraw her disappointment when the actual information was provided. The information was available. But if we have to conduct a very disciplined inquiry by the GSC, and you give us a body of questions, and you ask us to provide written submission, we complied with that. You had a whole host of adjacent questions that you came up, that some of them was not even in alignment with what you asked. And when I listen to you, Mr. Hislop, and when the witness say, we don't have the information readily available, we are going to submit in writing. Then the big face of disappointment is presented in the public space to give the impression, to give the calculated impression that the THA don't know what it's doing, and the Joint Select Committee is so disappointed. No, let us be fair. You can't call me to ask me about corn and question me about cucumbers. It's just not fair. That is an ambush.
In addition to that, Mr. Richards, there was a clear indication that a number of officials that we would have expected to see at the table was not there. No one from the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited.
Yeah, there were persons from the Tourism Agency Limited.
Okay, well, I'm guessing they were expecting to see the chairman of the company.
Well, I can't speak to that.
Speak to the absence of
I can't speak to that. That would have to be answered by the line secretary who have oversight, executive oversight over that company.
Okay, no problem.
Can't speak to that.
It says that you would have also raised the dissatisfaction in the absence of those the chairman of the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited being at the sitting as well. However, you also stated that most of the times you only have technical persons at the sitting. So was it an issue that the chairman wasn't there, seeing that the other technocrats were present at the meeting?
Usually the officials, senior officials, so let's say, for instance, if a ministry is to come before a Joint Select Committee, there's the permanent secretary, the deputy PS, along with senior officials of various entities under that ministry. So if we treat in with a particular state company under a ministry, somebody from the board has to be there or should be there, because those are the persons who are accountable to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And I want to go back to the point that the committees are never on a witch hunt, and that's why the committees are comprised the way they're comprised. And in most regards, it is an opposition senator or opposition member who's a chairman, an independent senator is a chairman, and they're comprised in such a way that there isn't this feeling that there is you're ganging up on a ministry or you're ganging up on an entity. This is not the first time that the THA has come to a joint select committee, and persons can go back on the record of the parliament and see the level of interrogation that took place prior to this present administration being in office in Tobago. And so the parliament has a function, parliament has a role until such time as the law changes that the THA has committees or whatever to regulate itself in terms of the expenditure, in terms of the operations of entities. It is still the responsibility of the parliament who approves the financial subvention to the Tobago House of Assembly. And hence the reason you have the committees, because it is the parliament's responsibility to approve financial allocations to ministries. And so if it is the parliament's responsibility to approve, it is also the responsibility of the parliament to scrutinize how the money is spent.
Okay, Mr. Hizab, I want to ask...
Because I think we keep spinning on the same... We've been spinning on it for the last...
I'll come back to you, Mr. Richards, but I want to find out from you. Moving forward, do you see any importance of really clarifying to the THA or any entity the criteria within which they have to come before the Joint Select Committee to fit into, making it really explicitly clear that the expectation is not just that, okay, you come and you answer questions that were sent before, but it can be a wide range of questions regarding the entity that they are representing. Is it important for you to ensure that that clarity is put out there in the future?
That has always been out there. That has, and you see, when Mr. Richards say that the questions were not in alignment with the role and function of the committee, or what the committee was adjudicating, is not true, because some
how is that true?
All those questions, or some of the questions, and besides the questions on figures in terms of the arrival. If you could share with me some of the other questions that he felt was out of turn from what was requested of the division. And so when a division comes before a committee or a ministry comes before a committee, we have a wide berth with areas that we could touch on.
But if you have to exercise discipline, but if you have to ask, no, because if you're talking about wide berth, right, and you're calling to inquire, and you set up the game, you set the markers, the committee sends the parameters and say, this is the parameter of our examination. Submit your written submission. It's they who did that.
What was the parameter that came to you?
You send the questions. You send the recommendation.
The questions came out of the submissions that you sent.
No.
And so
hold on. When you were speaking, I did not.
We're having a dialogue with that discussion.
No. When you were speaking, I listened attentively.
Okay,
I am making my submission now.
Go ahead. My apologies.
Right? So the committee send a list of questions and say, these are the questions we want you to submit written submission to, right? And these are and come to explain further on these questions. That's a fundamental, because if you go with Mr. Hislop's submission that the committee, and I don't want to cut or place any fetter on the jurisdiction of the committee. The committee's remit is as wide and large and as deep as the national parliament, be it what it may. But the fact of the matter is that if you have to have an inquiry or look into the operation of a company, you can't leave it open, because the company will have to work with its whole storage department, the records department, to dig up for every question you ask. You set the parameters. You say we want answers to A, B, C, D, F, G. Come and sit down to provide any further clarity we may need. But when you come to when the committee shows up, you have a whole different inquiry. And when the witness states that the information to that question is not readily available, you express disappointment. Well, you set up your game.
Mr. Richards, I want to ask you before we move forward. Regardless of that, do you think that moving forward, the THA has a duty to be a bit more prepared when facing the GSC or similar committees to account for the running as well as the finances of the THA?
Chanel, Mr. Hislop, there is no secret in the fact that we have institutional and systemic challenges in the THA. We have seen it from 2020 to 2022. The last administration was unable to get a pass from the Auditor General in the examination of its financial statement. So it speaks to a deep level, a deep-seated problem of institutional and systemic problems in the THA. And yes, we have to fix those things so that when we appear and our public officers appear, they are more organized, they are more readily prepared to engage with Mr. Hislop and his committee. Yes, I will say yes, that's not an issue. But my basic principle here is about being factual, being truthful, and being honest. Because you can't call me to ask me about banana and question me on cucumbers. It is unfair to the witnesses. No judicial system. And there's a saying that and Mr. Hislop keeps saying, the national parliament has its work to do. And there's a saying in politics or in governance that the highest court in the land is the national parliament. Mr. Hislop could go there and say anything about me and we can't swim in. And if you're coming with that kind of authority, then you have to be honest, you have to be transparent. You can't set up the witnesses of the division of the THA and tell me you want to ask me about bananas and then you come and you question me about cucumbers. That's not fair. And when I say we are not ready, we don't have the information you're asking about cucumbers readily available, we submit it for you in writing. You're saying you're disappointed.
So Chanel,
and I disappointed.
I just want to read something here, right? I just want to read something. Because up to this point, Mr. Richards has been unable to share with me what other areas that he felt was outside of what was requested, right? So I just want to say something. This is a letter to the chairman of the Joint Select Committee, right? From the acting administrator, Division of Tourism. And it says, dear chairman, written responses to the follow-up examination on the second report of the committee in the 11th Parliament. If these are written responses to a follow-up, right? The committee has the right to pull questions, if that's such an issue now, to pull questions from the original report. The committee can ask questions from the original report that was laid in Parliament because it is a follow-up. And the truth about it is the only question that Mr. Richards seems to have an issue with right now is the one that speaks to the numbers, the arrival numbers. Because some of the questions that are here, are simple. Has the THA observed an increase in the human resource capacity within the Tobago tourism industry? All of these are here. All this entire document is what was sent to the committee by the administrator of the division. And the secretariat of the committee who builds out the questions in the issues paper can pull from the previous report that was laid in the Parliament that is for public consumption. And so when we talk about the remit of the committee has the remit with the division based on what was laid in the House before, because it is a follow-up interrogation.
Excellent, and thank you for your contribution.
Let me just add this before we go, right? So Mr. Hislop is saying, and he said what he said, but here it is, the said committee sent to the Division of Tourism, the Joint Select Committee, additional questions and requests for information. And there is over 30 questions, none of which they asked, none of which included the questions that the committee could not have provided information. So they sent over 30 additional questions. Look at here.
Okay, well, thank you so much for presenting that. Guys, unfortunately, we are out of time for this interview this morning. Very interesting contributions from both the Senator Lawrence Hislop and Mr. Anselm Richards. Guys, you are able to make your own assessments from everything that was said here this morning. And if you just join us, I really hope that you are able to go back and watch this from the beginning and get the clarity that is needed. Guys, we're about to take a quick break and we'll be back right after this.
We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated one.
Help! Fire service! Hello, fire service! Anybody in here? Fire service! Yeah, we're right here! We gotta get out! We're right here! Okay, take him! Let's go!
Thank you for saving me. You're my hero.
Together, as we face the challenges during the new normal, always remember that fire safety begins with you.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
How it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna. Look up below, 'cause this is your show.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Welcome to L'Image Parfait Day Spa, your urban oasis and wellness center. Our services includes massages, treatments, facials, pedicures, weight management, detox programs, and much more. Call us today at 624-1452 or 720-7474. Trinidad locations and Bonacore, Tobago at 273-7772. Let us treat you like the VIP you are.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. We just left an interesting conversation, but we want to move forward with much more. So we're talking this morning with the Jari Titans. This morning I have Mr. Brian Brown, who's the founder and the head coach at Jari Titans Sport Development Club, and we're talking about the anti-violence walk that is coming up. Now tell us a bit about the sports club.
All right, good morning, Tobago. Jari Titans, we have been in existence just around 15 years. All right, we try to cater to every aspect of the child. All right, we are a development club, as the title says, where we do not just focus on developing sports, but developing better humans, better people. All right. Where sport is concerned, we are focused on cricket and football. All right. We train at Mongrace. That is our home base. All right. The ground has been under repair, so we are at Patience Hill Recreation Ground. Maybe for about the last month or so. We're hoping to get back to Mongrace soon. All right. But in a nutshell, that is just how it is. That is just who we are and where we are and what we do.
Excellent. And so this initiative is a part of that holistic development of the child that you guys have been aiming to provide. And so tell us a little bit more about the actual walk, because this walk is going to happen on the 10th of June, which is this Saturday.
Yes.
So tell us some more about the initiative itself. And is it that there is a higher prevalence of violence in the area that triggered this initiative? Tell us a bit about that.
All right. Well, we thought it fit to do our part to try and curb what we have obviously seen on the airwaves and in our communities over the last, it has increased. Crime has increased. Gun violence has increased, and we are just doing our part in our community. I don't think any community is exempt from some form of gunplay or some form of violence. All right, so I do not want to single out our community. Yes, there have been some incidents. All right, but we have chosen to take a stand and to let our voices be heard throughout the community. All right, and we encourage other programs, other NGOs to do the same. I mean, if good people don't stand up, it means that bad people would prevail.
Correct. Excellent.
So, yeah.
And so it's not just about the work. There's a lot happening as well. There's stuff for the whole family.
Yes.
Tell us about the breakfast sale, bouncy castles, and everything that can be expected when you come out at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Right. Tell us.
All right. So before we get to the bouncy castle and the breakfast sale, there is the walk.
Right.
All right. So we begin at Cutler Hall Recreation Ground. All right. And if you know the area well, we proceed up through where Scarborough Methodist, Scarborough Anglican, Cutler Hall Methodist, Cutler Hall Anglican, and we go up to the Chief Sec. We have a stop at the Chief Sec area, that junction right there. Then we go up the hill to the supermarket or to Government House Road, as we might say. All right, and then eventually we proceed all around to the playing field in Mongrace. All right, we have the police service and the prison service. They are all involved. They are going to be guiding us along, and whether it be for safety and just to give us some form of ease, some form of comfort as you walk. All right. A music truck would be there. Different speakers would be there. All right. So we're just hoping that as you don't have to be a member of the club.
Right.
You don't even have to be a member of the community.
Okay.
As long as you think that standing against violence is something that's supposed to be done or is worthy, I think you could join. All right. We encourage people to wear white. Right. I can't remember what the ladies told me the white is for, but the color is white.
Excellent.
Yes.
And there's no cover charge to participate. There's no fee. It's all free. Is it competitive? Are there any prizes attached to the person who arrives at the finishing line first?
All right, no. So it's not a race. It's not a run. It's not a walking race. It's just a awareness event. All right, so there's no prizes for winning the race. Well, yeah, you might have a prize at the finishing line, but you have to pay $50 for it. You have to pay $45 for it because it's breakfast, and there's also a fundraiser.
Okay.
Right.
So tell us a bit about
so
the donation aspect of it.
Right.
How are persons expected to donate? Is it that you are selling T-shirts? You have paraphernalia that will be there?
Yes, we do. We have some club, like I said, paraphernalia or merchandise that you can purchase. All right. You might have jerseys, you might have bottles, you might have cups and stuff like that. You can support. You can purchase those and support to help, offset some of the costs that has been put out. And even for future activities.
All right. Okay, and as we wrap up this morning, tell Tobago why it's so important for them to support this initiative and why it's important for young persons to come out and be a part.
All right. Like I said when I opened, violence has been on the rise. All right. We saw the incident in Golden Lane, Oil sometime last week, and there are several over the last year. All right. And I think that it is very, very fitting that non-profit organizations, and any organization for that matter, and for people to stand, to let young people know that there are options. Violence is not the only way to go. Guns and in that direction is not the only way to go. We understand that the street, as we would call it, is all inclusive. They accept anybody. And we as a program, different programs, they have a responsibility to try and help anybody that comes and not turn away people. Because sometimes when you turn them away, you turn them off, they turn to the street. Right? So it's massively important that we conduct exercises like this. Like I said, we encourage every community, every program to get involved, to do something in your own community. Reach out to us. We are willing to partner with you to support.
Excellent. And have you guys reached out to the Division of Community Development seeking any assistance or partnership with initiatives of this nature?
I know Mr. Trevor James, he's our area rep. We reached out to him because we have to do some work on the ground and in the field and stuff like that. So some form of assistance was handed.
Okay.
All right. So.
Excellent. Yes. Excellent. Do you see yourself in the future maybe partnering with the Division of Community Development to?
Yes, definitely. Anybody that is willing to be on the same page. All right. And our hope is that it becomes an annual thing. So it's not just a one-off. And you just do it because, the situation now. But we're hoping that it will continue over time. And like I said, we hope that we get other programs involved, programs to join.
Excellent. And we want to thank you for the initiative that you have taken to give back to the community and take a stand against violence.
Before I go, we are also having a football game. Fathers and coaches are going to play against our under-17 boys. Guys, and we encourage you to come out because the fathers and the coaches are raring to go. It's all part of our initiative where we have a program called Just Like Dad. We know that the involvement of fathers in the role that fathers play, we can't underplay that. We can't overplay that. All right, so we encourage the youngsters to come out. We encourage fathers and the other coaches to come out because we're going to have a grand time.
Excellent. Right. We look forward to that, and we look forward to maybe even the sons beating the dads. You never know.
No.
You never know.
No.
Guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this.
To a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor, so wake up and hear me neighbor.
Tapicom. Welcome to the future. The only card you will need in a new world. Digital business cards. Safe, hassle-free. The future is here. Tapicom. New generation digital transfer. Digital time clock cards. Digital attendance cards. Air tags. Customized designs. Digital clothing tags. Digital pet tags. Tapicom. The future is here. Contact us today.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Are you looking for a place for your loved ones? Heavenly Care welcomes you. Located at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors, we offer a variety of services. These include doctor visitations, social activities, geriatric care, and much more. Contact us at 277-9595 or visit us at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors. At Heavenly Care, compassion is at the heart of all care.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry, if your life can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry, if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry, if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
If you see or know about a crime, report a crime safely and anonymously. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime. You can play your part safely and anonymously. Report a crime. Earn a reward. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime. Be a hero, champion, fearless citizen. Be a crime stopper safely and anonymously. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, this morning we have a full house, full conversation, full on. And as we continue with this morning's conversation, we are talking about the Bella Forma Women's League Golf Tournament. And to have that conversation with me this morning, I have Mrs. Yvonne Dallas, who is the captain of Bella Forma Women's Golf Club.
Morning.
Also, Emma J. Murphy, who is the director of Ultimate Experience TT. And additionally, we have on set Onika Mars, who is the CEO and founder of women of substance. And we have 3 women of substance on our panel here this morning as we discuss this women's golf tournament. Now, Tobago, this is the 2nd annual ladies tournament. And so tell us a bit about the tournament, why it was started.
Right, the tournament was started because in Tobago we have 2 golf clubs. And neither of them were running anything for the women. There's always been things for the men, yeah? And more women are taking part in golf. So we decided to bring the women of Trinidad and Tobago together, along with the children and the mothers, to play golf. So on Saturday, we have juniors, starting from the age of 7 through to 17. We have mothers who are new beginners who've just started playing golf. And we also have the seasoned golfers that are coming again for the wonderful experience they received last year to play golf in order for them for us to support women of substance, because there is a lot of domestic violence going on in the country at the moment. And we've decided, along with Ultimate Experience, who are part of their travel agents, accommodation, etc., who are part of Tobago, trying to boost Tobago in order to support women of substance and the domestic violence that's going on in Trinidad and Tobago.
Excellent. And women of substance, Mrs. Mars, for a long time have tried to boost the esteem of women, not only on the island, but for as far as its reach goes. Tell us why it was important for you to partner with Bellaforma Women's Golf Club to be a part of this initiative.
Thank you so much. Good morning to you and good morning to Tobago. We, Emma, Yvonne, and myself, recognize the importance of offering support to persons who were affected by domestic violence and abuse. I recently met Yvonne and Emma, and we sat and had an interesting conversation, only to realize that we can identify with domestic violence and abuse. And because they were having this tournament and they wanted to support a cause, which is domestic violence and abuse, they chose Women of Substance. And that is why I am here as, supporting Emma and Yvonne. Yeah?
Excellent. And tell us a little bit about the golf club, because as a young woman in Tobago, I'm often interested in activities of this nature, but you just don't know that there exists a club of women who actually play golf. So tell us a little bit about the actual club, and then we'll get into some of what Ultimate Experience does here in Tobago.
Well, the club has been going for over 10 years. And about 7 years ago, we decided as women that we want our own leg. We want to control our destiny. So we decided we're going to get women, mothers, children on board to help. On Saturday, we have representatives from the Ricky Campbell Academy, Let's Play Golf, Irvine Academy, to bring on the youngsters, the young ladies who are coming up. Not only young ladies, there are young men in the golf clubs as well. But we want to bring children forward and to support them in coming up. Now, we train, there are people there that's happy to help ladies out. We have pros in the golf club that are happy. On a Wednesday, the ladies meet. Wednesday afternoon, the ladies meet. So anyone who wants to play golf, get in contact with us. We welcome you. We want you on board, because golf is therapy. When you're out there on that course, there's nothing else to think about hitting that unless you want to hit that golf ball.
It sounds like some really good postpartum relief as well, to sit and chat with other women and have that conversation. So you heard it here, ladies. You never know, are you a mom, or maybe you're not a mom as yet, and you really want to have a connection with a meaningful connection with other women who can support you, who you can also support for a greater cause. So you say people can join the golf club. Just leave a number for them so that they can connect.
If you want to call me, my number is 330-9035. Give me a shout. I will hook you up to the pros and come along and have fun. Take all the stress away.
Excellent. And when we talk about ultimate experience, TT, what role do you guys play in the overall functioning of everything, and what kind of service? Because she said you guys do travel experiences and tours.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes.
Ultimate Experience TT is an online-based travel company located in Tobago. The company's been going since 2019, and the company has found a niche in the market in that travellers want to come and get a holiday, but they want everything done for them. So basically all of their travel needs in one place. That's from leaving where you are, wherever it is in the world that you're coming from, to come to Tobago. We're here to basically fulfill all of your needs, offer you a concierge service and everything that you need.
Excellent, excellent. And so you guys would have met and realized that there were some synergies in what you want to offer outside of just your basic business, well, outside of women of substance, because this is really what you do. What you do is offer relief to women in domestic violence situations. And so tell us, who is this tournament targeting? Who is supposed to come out and be a part? Because we see that there is a fee of $350 per player. So who are we expecting to see come and be a part of this tournament?
We have ladies coming from Tobago. We have ladies coming from Trinidad. We have juniors who are coming from Tobago, as well as newbies, new beginners, people who have just started playing golf, haven't got a handicap, and want to come and take part and enjoy the day. We've got so many sponsors that are helping us out to make this day amazing for our ladies. You know, some of our sponsors are
It's AA Customized Catering, La Roche Jewellery, Genesis Honey. We've got a number of sponsors. The THA. We've got a number of sponsors that's backing the drive for us.
Excellent, excellent. And guys, so you heard it here. So that's on the 10th of June, which is tomorrow, at the Magdalena Beach and Golf at Lowlands, Tobago. Guys, you can come out and be a part of it. There is categories for newbies and beginners, so don't worry about it. If you're not an expert, that's fine. Also, if you just want to come out and be a part of it, there is the ability for you to come out, meet new people, network, and just make a donation to the cause. Maybe you're not a golfer, but you're a woman who is willing and able to support the cause of domestic violence. Or maybe you just want to meet other women in the circle who have been through the same thing as you, and there's an opportunity for bonding. So guys, you heard it here. So that is tomorrow, June the 10th, at Magdalena Beach Resort, and you see these wonderful women here are doing whatever they can in their power to contribute, to give back, and to, you know, make their efforts in the fight against domestic violence. Guys, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today, and we're going to wrap it up right here. Again, thank you so much to my guests that were on earlier. Guys, if you missed this morning's conversation, go back and look at it and make sure that you tune in. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And thank you for making Tobago Updates the #1 broadcasting station on the island of Tobago. Again, thank you and have a great weekend.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new